The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's October the 25th, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Joined once again this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by Game Time, your ultimate source for all your ticketing needs, whether it be Miami Hurricanes, NFL, NBA, NHL, concerts, theater. Game Time has you covered when it's time to go get some tickets. And by Caneswear, your ultimate authority for University of Miami merchandise. We'll be talking more about Caneswear later, but they got you covered if you need gear for the Florida State game this weekend. And Matt, man, it's Florida State weekend, but it doesn't feel to me like Florida State weekend. And that's a little scary, quite frankly, because you wonder, can Florida State rise up and make this a game this weekend? And nobody thinks they can. I know I don't think they can. I'm sure you don't think they can. I'm expecting a Miami blowout. But there is the thought out there that a rivalry game is a rivalry game. You throw the records out the window, and anything can happen in a rivalry game. So as we all head to Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday for this 7 o'clock kickoff, should we be a little bit worried?
I mean, I've already moved on to the Duke game. So, Duke's not bad. Shockingly good, actually. No. I actually have looked at Duke, believe it or not. I think that, man, it's remarkable. And the reason I look at Duke is because Manny Diaz is doing at Duke what he tried to do at Miami, but, they're like eking out these 1 point, 3 point, 7 point wins. He took 20 transfers, right? Remember Transfer Portal U under Manny Diaz, remember? 7 of them are significant starters of the transfers he took. And now they play SMU at 8 p.m. And you know what? If they beat SMU, maybe Miami will play a top 25 team this year because Duke will be 6-1, 7-1 at that point. And that might actually be a decent game, because their defense is actually pretty good and can get after Cam Ward. Shockingly, I mean, they have a Princeton transfer who's starting. How does that happen? How does a Princeton guy who's at Princeton for 4 years, mind you, wind up at a ACC school starting? And
if you're going to transfer, you might as well transfer to Duke, right?
Manny Diaz is just a master evaluator of talent. I've never seen someone as good at Manny Diaz at evaluating Princeton talent. I mean, he scoured the Ivy Leagues for weeks and months and found a guy at Princeton. But look, this, it's sort of, I see it on both sides. I want, unlike Miami fans, I actually want FSU to be good, because I think it's good for the rivalry. I think it's good for the series. I think it's good for the country. I think it's good for Miami recruiting. I think it's good for everything for Miami to have really good rivalries. And so, while Miami fans might be celebrating that FSU sucks and Florida sucks and we're the best in the state, like I would argue that's maybe not the greatest thing in the world for a Miami program, because beating a really good Florida State team means more than thrashing this horrible shell of a program that really has just gone in the tank. It's annoying to me how Miami players are trained now. Every answer 1-0. What do you think about Florida State? 1-0. What do you think about the rivalry? 1-0. That's their answer to everything now. And I don't think they actually believe it. I don't think they're treating this like any other game. I actually think that. And I'm not saying players are overlooking it. I think it's the opposite. I think players want to kill, like 66-0 kill Florida State. And I think they're talking about it with each other. I don't think when they're in the locker room, and their conversations are being recorded on Zoom by some SID guy who grew up in the same town I did, by the way, that they're saying just 1-0, it's just any other team. This is, it's a faceless, nameless opponent. We just have to worry about ourselves. That's not what they're saying. They're saying 66-0, 72-0. They're saying it's time for Miami fans to get payback. And you know what? Miami fans will get payback because Florida State's going to get crushed. Even Florida State fans aren't pretending they're any good, I went on a podcast with Florida State and I looked at the comments and they're like, yeah, we suck. Like, yeah, we have no chance, and they're not kidding. Like, it's not being facetious. Like, they have no chance. They suck. So for Miami fans who say, oh, in this rivalry, you never know, throw the records out, and Mario Cristobal saying this is a great defense and a really good offense, like, no, it's not. It's not. If it was one game or 2 games or maybe even 3 games, you could say, well, maybe Florida State will recover. They've been bad for 7 games on offense. They've been bad for 5 games on defense. And they're nationally bad in pretty much every category you can come up with, from total offense, total defense, scoring defense, quality of the steak they eat in Tallahassee, quality
Hey, they have a
of
there.
quality of the real estate in Tallahassee. Like every metric you want to come up with, they're really bad compared to Miami. Okay.
I don't know what one place you can get a steak in Tallahassee. They have a Shula's.
Oh, all right. That was great. And I posted yesterday on the message boards, I said my FSU game predictions, and these honestly are on the low end. Cam Ward over 300 yards, Damian Martinez over 100 yards, FSU under 350. I'll be amazed if they get to 300. And Miami wins 38-14. And that's all conservative. That's me being conservative. I'm like giving FSU the benefit of the doubt, honestly. That's considering Miami coming in and playing an average game and FSU coming in and playing an average game. I think FSU comes in and plays a bad game, and I think Miami plays a great game. And it's, going to be way better than that. But that's like the bottom baseline is 300 for Cam, as usual, right? Every game he's done that. 100 for Damian for the first time all year. And the defense finally will look good. Not because they're good defense, but because FSU is an awful offense. Like, just when you guys watch FSU on offense, they would take Kirby Freeman right now and start him. Like, that's how bad their offense is. It's if you have not watched FSU this season, get ready for a total dump truck. I don't know what term Stephen Wagner used. A tire fire. What did he say? I don't know. Whatever it is. A tire fire. Do not set tires on fire. It's toxic. Stephen claims that it's something he roasts marshmallows over, but that's because he's from, Texas, New Mexico originally?
Texas. But so I taped the Countdown to Kickoff show. It's on the website this morning. You guys can check it out with Ira Schoffel from War Chant. And he's a really good reporter. He's covered Florida State for years. Is actually, pretty objective. And I think the Countdown show will give you guys some, real insight into Florida State and what they're going through up there. We also have a story on their defense coordinator, and Fuller, and he's talking a good game, Matt. Like, he is doing what I guess he's supposed to do, and he's rallying up the troops, and he's showing a lot of respect for Miami's offense, but he's also pretty much saying that they think they can do some things against Miami. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what those are. But their defense is not as bad as their offense, which is like literally at the bottom of all the offensive stats in the country. I think they're 120th in points scored, 120th in total offense.
132nd in both of those.
Same
Where
idea.
do you come with these numbers? Just look.
I website. Memory, man. My memory, I guess, is not good enough. But
you moved them up 12 spots. Listen, Mighty, name the school. I don't know. Well, what's a really bad school? Name the Alaska State. I don't know. Whatever. Like, you just push them ahead of those schools. Those schools there's going to be 11 really mad schools at you. Iran's going to take out a hit on you, whatever that school is. Iran State. Iran put out a hit on some woman, some journalist in the U.S. and couldn't even get that right. How, if you're an entire state, an entire country of state-sponsored terror, and that's who you're trying to kill one person, how hard can that be? How do they not get that done?
What are they doing trying to kill Americans in the first place? I mean, like they trying to start a world war because there would be hell to pay. I would like to think if they did come over here and kill an American, but not to mention the former president that they're trying to kill. But anyway, so we're not going to.
It's like one of those comedy movies, If you could see the behind the scenes of what probably actually happened, it's probably like just a farce, like everything that can go wrong did go wrong. Like the guy was eating a hamburger when the woman walked by and he's like, oh crap. And then he chases after her and it's too late to shoot her, stuff like that. I mean, it's really hard as an assassin when your subject doesn't even know they're being assassinated and that you know where they are, that you can't even assassinate them. I know she's gone to 20 different hiding places, but I mean, come on.
Unreal. But anyway, so like, I'm expecting Miami's defense to be the Miami defense that we saw in Gainesville. I really am. I think this is obviously a much better matchup than what they've had the last few weeks, where they haven't looked great. And obviously, they've been putting a lot of time in on the practice field to try to get better at the things that they've been screwing up the last few weeks. And I'm really expecting the Miami defense to rise back up here in this game and flex its muscle a little bit and get after the quarterback and stop the running game. And if it happens that way, the way I think it will, it's going to be a long day for Florida State because, I don't think that they're going to be able to slow down Cam Ward and the Miami offense. And I like your prediction, Matt. 30, what did you say? 30
38-14. Yeah, but here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Miami plays Florida State and Duke, two of the worst offenses in the ACC, and honestly in the country, right? Duke's also over in the hundreds, and we'll see how they do against SMU Saturday night. But notwithstanding, as we sit here right now at 5:15 in the morning, that's the situation, okay? So the next two games, just like in 2017, the false sense of security, like, hey, we're a 10-0 team, we're really, really good. Like, I hope Lance Guidry doesn't think from these next two games that his defense is fixed. And then those final three games, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Syracuse, are against three pretty good offenses, right?
Turn off the hype machine. I agree with you.
Yeah, because if they get fooled into thinking everything's fixed from these two awful offenses and they start talking about how great their defense is all of a sudden, it's definitely a mirage, okay? You cannot gauge anything about Miami's defense for these next two games. These two offenses are abysmal. Duke is winning its games barely by the skin of its teeth. Again, teeth run out of skin, but that's a saying from Gary's growing up in the 1910s. And their offense is terrible. And FSU's also really, like you said, arguably the worst offense in the country. So yeah, I just hope that players don't get lackadaisical. The coaching staff recognizes we need to still fix things and do things differently than what we saw in the last three games Miami's played on defense. If they're going to be able to, keep those last three teams below 28, 35 points, because those three teams can score. Wake Forest is not a good team, but they actually can pass the ball a little bit. They're a decent offense. And then Georgia Tech and Syracuse, I would argue, are not that far behind Louisville in terms of their offensive capabilities. So, you don't want to have a loss in those last three games. That would be devastating after what Mario Cristobal has built and what Cam Ward's done. And the only way you're going to lose one of those three games is with a bad defense that's just unprepared.
Or turning the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Because if the defense is playing okay, if the defense even plays half, 50th percentile in the ACC, you're going to have turnovers, Gary. I'm not going to say, oh, Cam Ward can't turn the ball over.
I'm talking about like a Virginia Tech game where Cam Ward had 3 turnovers. If you do that,
I would argue that you can have 1 or 2 turnovers in a game against these last three teams and still win if your defense is okay. But you're right. If you have 1 or 2 turnovers and your defense sucks again, and you're playing those decent offenses those last 3 games this year, then yeah, you're right. That certainly will get you in a close game that could go either way. That's fair.
All that can derail Miami this year, in my opinion. I don't see anybody flat beating them. They're going to have to step on themselves a little bit here in the regular season.
They're 100%. They're the best team in every game that remains by far. Not even roster-wise, not even close. Yeah, 100%. They'll have to lose because of coaching, bad coaching, because of busts on defense, or like you said, because they just commit some mind-boggling turnovers.
Yeah. So we have all kinds of stuff on the website on a continuing basis here to get you guys ready for the game. I mentioned the Countdown the Kickoff show. We also have a story with Mario Cristobal, who also is trying to show Florida State respect. He calls them a dangerous team, and he says to win, we have to get better. The coaches are doing their part in showing zero disrespect for the opponent. We got a story with Simeon Barrow. He talks about how the defense needs to get its act together, needs a lot of fixing at every part of the field. From the other sideline, we have commentary from Mike Norvell talking about the Hurricanes and Florida State players and their defensive coordinator, also giving their review of the Hurricanes after studying film. So a lot of stuff there on the website to get you guys ready to go to Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday night. And I might as well take the moment now. And if you don't have tickets yet, for this game, or even some of the games coming up, games on the road at Georgia Tech, at Syracuse. If you need tickets for an NFL game, an NBA game, theater, concerts, whatever it is, gametime.co is your place to go. And notice I said .co, not .com. It's not .com, it's .co, gametime.co. You also can utilize Game Time with the Game Time app. And it really is the most seamless, simple, functional way to buy tickets in the marketplace today. They have a great new feature that they call Game Time Picks. And Game Time Picks makes getting the tickets to your favorite live events easier than it's ever been before. They weed out all the fluff, and they only show you the most incredible deals on the best seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of ridiculous listings of tickets, trying to figure out, where do I sit? What do I do? They show you what you should do. And you would be wise to follow their direction, because their curated deals make it so much easier to find the best price on the greatest seats. They have super deals. They have last minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Even an hour after it starts, you can go to gametime.co and get a ticket for that event. Their lowest price guarantee, just pretty much assures you of getting the best price. You find a better price after you buy the ticket, they will credit you 110% of the difference. How about that? And the thing I really like about Game Time is some of the special features they have. You can see the view from your seat, so you really can get a true visual feel for what that event or game is going to look like once you buy the ticket. And then the other thing I really like is you could toggle the all-in pricing feature. To me, this is the greatest, because you go to some of these ticket sites, and let's say you buy a ticket for $100, and then you go to checkout. Oh my God, it's $220. You don't see the fees at first, and they're throwing. I mean, the fees in the ticketing industry are an absolute clown show. I mean, it is a total joke. But if you're buying tickets, you're stuck paying fees. So you go, you toggle this all-in pricing switch, and it shows you exactly the total price that you're paying for those tickets. So that's a great thing for those of you that might be buying tickets in the future to any of these events. And they also have event cancellation protection. If it gets canceled, you will get your money back within 24 hours. And let's say you buy tickets in advance and you lose your job, or come in, there's some other kind of money difficulty. They've got what they call job loss assurance. You tell them, hey, I lost my job. I really can't afford these tickets. Can you take them back? And they will give you a refund for your tickets. They've got you covered. So Game Time really has it all for you. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. You download the Game Time app, you create an account, and then the first time you buy your tickets, you use the code ON3, ON the number 3. They will give you $20 off your first purchase. So create an account, redeem that code ON3, get your $20 off. Terms do apply, but you can buy your tickets in seconds with just a couple taps. What time is it? It is game time if you need tickets. So make sure that you go ahead and do that if you need tickets for any of these games coming up or other events. Now, one thing I know that you guys need is gear. Okay. And it doesn't matter whether it's jerseys, hats, t-shirts, magnets, hoodies, flags, whatever it is, the place for you is Caneswear in Davie. They're at 2655 South University Drive there in Davie, 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium. So if you're going to the game on Saturday night, you can go buy Caneswear in the afternoon. You can load up on gear. If you're going to tailgate, you can buy your food next door. They feed Lamar on Wednesday night, so I don't mind giving La Spada a little bit of a free plug there, because they do have the best subs in town, legitimately. So you can get your subs at La Spada, you can get your gear at Caneswear, and make that one stop and go right to the stadium and have yourself a great tailgate and some good food. And so Caneswear really just has a little bit of all. They got all sizes for men, women, kids, babies. They will even dress your pet. You got a dog at home?
Here we go again.
They'll sell you stuff for your pet. They will. They have clothes for pets.
Great.
What's wrong with that? They won't dress your stone crabs, Matt Shodell. They're not going to dress up your stone crabs, but they will dress your dog.
Pets like to be naked. Do you think if you went out to the Sahara, or not Sahara, if you went to the Serengeti, do you think these animals want to have clothes? If you show a pair of sweatpants, doggy sweatpants, and doggy shirts to a lion, he's going to eat you. And he's not going to put on the sweatpants and the jogger, whatever. It's not happening. They don't want clothes. They get very angry. Actual wild animals, if you try to present them with clothes, they will attack you.
Well, most Canes fans who have dogs are not getting attacked by their dogs when they dress them up in Canes gear. So Caneswear will have you covered no matter what you need. Now, again, the address, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, 15 minutes north of Hard Rock. If you can't get to the store, it's a little late for the Florida State game now. You're not going to get your gear in time for the Florida State game, but you can go to caneswear.com. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will have you covered online as well. So visit the store, 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Go to caneswear.com for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs. All right, Matt. So we've got everybody covered for tickets. We got them covered for their clothes. We got them covered for their food. Now they just got to figure out how to bet the game for those that bet. Did the You Bet CaneSport show with Lee Sterling. That's on the website as well. Lee Sterling says, take Miami minus 21. It's one of his bets of the day. He's going to even give it to his clients at ParamountSports.com. He believes this will be a Miami Hurricanes blowout. So do I. You're predicting a convincing victory. Hopefully, we will all be correct by about 10:30 on Saturday night. All right. We also have a lot of other stuff on the website today, a lot of recruiting coverage. I think they're going to have about 100 recruits, at this game on Saturday night. We've been trying to preview it the best we can all week. Stephen and the Zuby have been working overtime. But we have a story on four-star commit Herbert Scroggins. He's previewing his weekend visit. Same with four-star defensive lineman Keyshawn Stansel. Miami commit Darian Coleman is excited to get down again and watch Miami, Florida State. Four-star running back Gerard Pringle, he's coming down. He's very pleased with the running back production this season, what he sees. And it goes on and on and on. A lot of recruiting coverage on the site for you guys. So make sure you check all that out as well. So Matt, parting thoughts for the week here as Miami gets ready to host all these recruits, have Florida State in town. You got a national TV audience watching it. A big weekend for the Canes.
Yeah, well, I'm going to dress up your dog in FSU clothes and take him out to the game as the FSU mascot, because I don't think the real mascot's going to want to show up for this game. The Flaming Spear will quickly be doused. I think by the end of the first quarter, Renegade and his rider will be gone. All that will be left is poor Gary Ferman's little poodle wearing his FSU little mittens on his. I like to say hooves. I know you people say paws. I say hooves because animals are animals. Don't dress up wild animals, people. It's not right.
Do you think they'll bring I wonder if they'll bring the band down. Bother driving them all the way down from Cali.
By the way, do you think I know people love their dogs and their cats or whatever? Do you think these pets really want to stick around? If you weren't feeding them, they would leave. If you stopped feeding your pet, that pet would leave your house and start looking for food somewhere else. They don't care that much about you. I know people love their dogs and their cats. Oh my God, it's like a family member. I get it, but that's just the truth. So don't dress up your pets. Let them be what they are. They're wild animals who are excellent companions, but don't pretend that they're something they're not. Don't try to turn them into people by dressing them up. I mean, I saw a great thing on Facebook that they were for the Halloween. They have this you could dress your pet up in, okay? Because I actually approve of this. It's like an outfit for your dog where every time the dog walks, it has like a Freddy Krueger face, and it goes like this with a knife every time they walk. So it's like the dog's running towards you, and it's like Freddy Krueger running at you with a knife like this. I approve of that. I just don't approve of normal wear. There's no need.
Let me try this again. Do you think the Knowles are going to bring their band down, Matt? Are we going to hear the for at least like 2 minutes in the first quarter, and then they can sit there and eat popcorn?
That's what they've been doing all year. I mean, it's got to be pretty depressing. Miami fans, somewhat. I mean, Miami's never been as bad, honestly. Miami's never started 1-6 ever, dating back to whatever. I mean, the 1930s. You would know better than I do about those years. But this is historically bad for either of these programs. It's unheard of bad. And there's no, the interesting thing is with the transfer portal, FSU was really good, was great during the regular season last year, awful this year, but they could be great again next year. That's the beauty of the transfer portal. And I'm also curious to see, for instance, what happens when bowl games come around and playoffs come around and title games come around. Because at the end of the day, these are individual players. I understand they're on a team, but they're individual players who are playing for their future. And I don't know what kind of NIL deals get signed and how you have to do things. I think if I remember correctly, Miami had to pay Ja'Carri Brown just to play quarterback in the bowl game last year because they had no quarterback. They had to give him an NIL deal to get him to play football. And at some point, whether it's, I'm not saying it's in Miami, but whether it's any team in the country, once you have 12 teams and not 4 teams, there's a much higher probability that some really good player on one of those teams is going to be like, I'm not risking my NFL future where I know I'm going to be a top 15 pick, that I might get hurt in a bowl game when I'm not getting reimbursed for it. I have to take out my own insurance policy and pay it for that. And that's only for a career-ending injury, so it's just money out the window, I'm very curious to see if the NCAA has screwed themselves by essentially costing themselves top players in playoff games, because that is feasible. That is something that could happen if it's not written into NIL contracts, that they have to play every single game, including the playoffs, including bowl games, Like if that's not in the contract, the players are going to make a lot more money not playing and knowing they'll be healthy for the NFL than playing and risking injury, because every game what can happen, right? So I think the NCAA has done a really bad job of creating a system, but at the same time, it will let an FSU be really, really good next year because they can get rid of all the players I think were terrible this year, and they can bring in a whole new trove of brand new players and have a brand new team next year. That's the beauty of it. And you know what? Miami is taking advantage of it as well as anybody this year, right? Because I added it up. I think it's 11 starters, right? 11 starters or transfers. Am I making that number up? Quarterback, running back, offensive line, 1 receiver, and on defense, you got 3 defensive linemen. I would call Francisco Mauanoa still a transfer, right? Because Mario got him last year. That's another. And then 3 in the secondary if you include Jadaeus Richards starting. So that's 11. 7 plus 4, 11. Yeah. I mean, half Miami's team isn't homegrown. It's transfer portal guys. So FSU could do the same thing next year and be right back in business. And it's going to be it's a new normal, really. This that can happen with these teams.
How about this thought? And we'll be talking about this in a few weeks. Miami's got to restock.
I thought we knew that.
Well, but one way or the other,
10 of those 11 guys that are portal guys are gone.
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious they have to.
Well,
but the question is, do they restock from the portal or do they restock from their recruits they got?
From within, and that's what we're going to be doing a lot of analysis on that once we get it, through this regular season. That's going to be a big deal in December. Okay, a big deal. So a lot to look forward to there. We're not going to go into that now, but you can start thinking about it though, because it's going to be a big deal, and we're seeing live and in living color this weekend the ramifications of not doing a good job there, because this was a 12-0 team a year ago. All right, well, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. If you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please head on over to our website. We got an FSU game flash sale right now. You can get your first 7 days for $1 and then 50% off your first year. not bad, not a bad deal to come join our community of fans. We got great community of fans, people yak it up on the message boards all day long. And our staff does everything we can do morning, day, and night to make your fan experience the best that it could possibly be. So if you're not yet a subscriber, please, please, please come over, become a subscriber, because your subscriptions are what allow us to do what we do every single day. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for starting out your day with us yet again. And we will see you, I guess, Monday morning, where we'll be talking about that Miami FSU game and what we see Saturday night at Hard Rock. Have a great weekend, everybody.